Water is a precious natural resource that affects many different aspects of life in southwestern Minnesota. Various forms of this vital liquid are being polluted by simple, everyday acts. One such water source that can cause damage to major waterways when polluted is known as stormwater. Stormwater is rain and snow that melts off impervious surfaces such as rooftops, paved streets, highways, and parking lots. It can pick up pollutants such as oil, fertilizer, pesticides, soil, trash, and animal waste. From here, the untreated water may flow directly into a local stream or lake.
One of the things that people don't understand, that when water falls in town, it has to go somewhere. The stuff that falls on grasslands, parks, that sort of thing, usually soaks into the ground. And it's used by plants, it becomes part of our groundwater, and it's no big deal. The water that falls on hard surfaces runs off. That water has to go somewhere, and that water is not treated.
These so-called hard surfaces that add to the stormwater problem are termed impervious surfaces.
Impervious surfaces would be any type of paving or other surface that prohibits or severely limits the amount of water that can move through it. So typically we think of concrete in the bituminous roads or pavements, and then we look at houses, but also gravel that's compacted is intended not to have water go through it. So it's any of those types of surfaces.
Once stormwater runs off impervious surfaces, it is transported by local stormwater systems.
Well, storm sewers, we usually just think of the pipes that are under the ground, but actually the complete storm sewer system includes the street, curb, and gutters. It might be open ditches or drainage swells. So it's anything that conveys storm runoff into the lakes and streams. A lot of the stormwater will discharge directly into the lakes and the streams. There are the newer systems will maybe be discharged through a pond, but they do not go through a treatment plant like house sewage does.
If stormwater initially runs off impervious surfaces that contain pollutants and is then left untreated to be conveyed by storm sewers, the contaminated water can pose a threat to the condition of local waters such as Lake Okabena.
We have two problems in Lake Okabena. One is we got cloudy water. Part of that is caused by the sediment, and that sediment comes off our streets, comes off construction projects, but it also comes off the agricultural land, which is most of the watershed. But the water is cloudy, and we see on a windy day how brown the lake can get. The second problem that comes from stormwater, again, is the nutrients that get into the water and cause the algae to grow. And the nutrient that we're most concerned about is phosphorus. The phosphorus is the major nutrient for algae blooms in Lake Okabena. Every year in June, July, August, and September, we start to get algae blooms, and some years they can be quite a nuisance, and they're largely caused by too many nutrients in the water. And part of those nutrients, some of those nutrients are coming from the stormwater out of the city.
In addition to stormwater's effect on the cloudy appearance and number of algae blooms in Lake Okabena, this water runoff holds the potential to increase flooding in the Okabena-Ochita watershed district.
So when you see a big rainstorm, you can see that you got some street flooding going on in town. The stormwater system is meant to collect rainfall that falls onto hard surfaces in the town, and to deliver that rainfall or convey that rainfall to some other place. In Worthington, a lot of the water goes to Lake Okabena, but some of the water also heads south to Lake Ochita, and some of the water heads north and east to Heron Lake. If we could store stormwater on site, store it in stormwater ponds like you're seeing in Worthington now, store it in rain barrels, store it in low areas in town, that water will stay there for a while before it heads off and reduce flooding, ultimately in that receiving water.
The issue of stormwater pollution in the areas surrounding Lake Okabena is of great importance and urgency to our community. Sediments and nutrients can lead to uninviting cloudy water and annoying algae blooms, in addition to the ever-present threat of flooding. With these harsh consequences in mind, our community can begin to understand that we have the knowledge, potential, and resources to protect our waterways for the generations to come.